What's going on, everyone? This is Erik from Full Mount MMA, and today I am joined by perhaps the greatest fighter of all time, Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson. Demetrious, how are you?
I'm good. How about yourself, buddy?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for joining us today. So just jumping right into it here. Obviously, big news the past couple weeks is that you're going to be fighting Rodtang, the Muay Thai legend, in a kind of mixed rules fight, something we've never seen before, on December 5th in one championship. From what I understand, they wanted you to fight Rodtang for his Muay Thai world title, but you kind of stepped aside to let, pure Muay Thai fighters fight for that. And then they kind of came back to you with this offer. Were you quick to say yes with this? Were you just excited immediately for this challenge?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you hit it right on the nail. Once they said, okay, well, why don't we do this instead? I was like, okay, sounds good. Let's make it happen. And, here we are right now.
Yeah, and I guess how do you kind of go about game planning for this fight? I'm sure a lot of people are expecting you to be more defensive in the Muay Thai rounds and go more offensive in the MMA rounds. But how do you even approach something like this that's, round to round is just a different style of fight?
Yeah, we haven't got to the point where we started breaking down how we're gonna, approach the fight. But obviously Rodtang is a Muay Thai specialist. So with that being said, we're just gonna approach the fight as we're fighting the best striker in the world in mixed martial arts, but you can't take him down.
Are you kind of about that? I was wondering if you're concerned at all about your instincts kicking in during the Muay Thai rounds. I know a lot of fighters are so in the moment that they don't even necessarily remember what round they're in. How can you just kind of turn off those instincts after wrestling and fights for so many years?
Just subconsciously just try to keep it in the back of my mind, saying you can't wrestle, you can't take him down these rounds, and rely on my cornerman to be like, hey, this is MMA round, you can do whatever you want. You're going back to Muay Thai round, you got to be on your feet. So I'll leave it to them, and they're going to do a good job. And I'm pretty intelligent myself to be able to keep track of what round I'm in and what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to kind of move back to the your first loss by finish to Adriano Moraes. Not to harp on it too much, but could you just describe getting finished for the first time in so many high-level fights? Is there any, I don't know, almost a sense of relief? Maybe it's not as bad as you thought after being so close to perfect for so long?
Losses are losses. I've had losses where I felt, when I fought Domino Cruz, I was getting suplex all over the damn place. It was more beating. This was just a blip of time, and it was just, honestly, just another loss on my career.
Yeah. Was that maybe the most you've ever struggled with size in the cage? I know a lot of people on social media were looking at it and saying Moraes looked frankly, like a lightweight or a welterweight in there. He looked enormous. Did you think so too?
He was big, but I felt like I said, when I fought Domino Cruz, that was more of me and Domino Cruz fight went 5 rounds, to where Adrian did a good job of using his range and not running, but using more footwork to negate the fight and just catching me coming in. So when I was fighting Domino Cruz, we were all over the place, fighting back and forth, wrestling. So I felt more of the size of Domino Cruz and fighting Adriano, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's interesting. Obviously, got hit with a grounded knee, legal in one, not legal in the UFC. Do you think that had anything to do with it, or it was just a good shot?
It was just a good shot. I mean, obviously, I put my arm in the underhook, and he was able to execute that beautifully timed knee, and that's all she wrote.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to talk a little bit about your old foe, Henry Cejudo. He's been making waves this week. He wants to come up to featherweight and fight Alexander Volkanovski, kind of become the first, I guess, triple champ in the UFC. What do you think about Cejudo's request to fight him and just Volkanovski as a featherweight champion after his fight with Ortega?
It's a request. I mean, if that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do. I think there's other guys in the division who deserve the right more. I mean, if Henry Cejudo really wants to fight, he should just jump in there as a featherweight and work his way up the ranks.
Yeah, definitely. What'd you make of Volkanovski's win over Ortega? I mean, that was a pretty incredible fight. Did you watch it?
I did. That was a sick fight. I mean, Volkanovski's, he's starting to, etch his name in history books at 145 as a champion. And Max Holloway, man, the guy's got a lot of heart.
Do you think Volkanovski beats Cejudo if, God forbid, that fight does actually happen?
I think he does, yes.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, another just huge story for the week. Jon Jones was obviously arrested again. Didn't want to get too much into the details of the arrest itself, but You know, you and Jon are both high up in that GOAT conversation. I think most people would put you both in like the top 3, top 5. As somebody that's avoided controversy for your whole career, whereas obviously Jon has not, I was just wondering if you could speak to the pressure of being at the top of the sport for so long, like the both of you are.
I don't think it's about being at the top of the sport, the pressure in that, it's, we're all human. Imagine if it was a person, imagine Jon Jones wasn't a professional athlete, this stuff happens all the time, every single day. Not saying it's okay, but just because it's Jon Jones is being brought more to the spotlight, and, Jon Jones should be a saint and do all this stuff, He's admitted himself he has a problem with alcohol and demons, and he's trying to do right and be better. And I'm sure he will get better.
Well said. Well said. Last question here before I let you go, Demetrious. Obviously you've been at the top of the sport for so long, like I just said. I'm just curious, when it's all said and done, when you do finally retire yourself, what else do you want to accomplish in MMA before it's over, as someone who, has kind of done it all in the sport?
Just be successful and be healthy. I don't really look at mixed martial arts as like, these are the things I want to accomplish before I retire. I just want to compete and be healthy and have a good time.
There you go. Demetrious Johnson, thank you so much for joining us today. Before I let you go here, any shout outs, personal ventures, sponsorships? The floor is yours. Anyone you want to give light to?
Oh man, shout out to all the teammates at AMZ Pain Creation, and shout out to my sponsors, Evolve MMA, and also Quantum Bars. Other than that, thank you so much for having me on your show, man.
There we go. Thank you so much, Demetrious. It was great talking to you.
Thank you. Likewise.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this video. If you like our content, be sure to subscribe to Full Man MMA. And while you're at it, make sure to hit the bell icon as well so you never miss an update from us.